Ladies and gentlemen, my goodness. Have we... Oh, broke my camera. Ladies and gentlemen, have we made it? Football season is here. Thank the Lord. Been waiting too long for this. Welcome back to the Weekly 415 podcast with your host, Reed and Dart. We're on episode 3. We're cranking through these. Not really. But whatever. Yeah, football season. It's here. The Niners play football today at 1:05 Pacific Standard Time against Seattle in Seattle. I'm stoked. Haven't seen a matchup start, or haven't seen a season start with this type of matchup for the Niners in quite some time, starting with a huge division rival. So, yeah, I mean, we're stoked. Everyone's stoked. It's game day. Games actually start in 30 minutes at the time I'm recording this. So I would say set your fantasy lineups, but this isn't going to come out until after 10. Anyways, fair warning, I've tried to film this 3 times and I just can't get out what I want to say in a way where it doesn't sound like I'm stuttering and being a complete weirdo. And I've kind of like switched up the format of what I want to say this episode. So what we're kind of going to talk about, it's going to be a shorter episode, I would say, but I have 10 players on the Niners roster that I think are going to be the most important to this season. There's not going to be like some like, holy cow, this guy knows ball, like someone that is not really going to get any playing time. These are players that we've all heard of that see the field every day, pretty much every snap, whether they're on offense or defense. So fair warning, it's not like there's not going to be any crazy names out there. These are all players that I've heard of, everyone has heard of, and can really kind of focus in on because their names they're recognizable. So just wanted to get that off my chest. And yeah, so before I get into that, I just want to talk about the game today. Christian McCaffrey with his health scare, with his calf injury that was kind of lingering for the past few days, he is good to go. That's a huge sigh of relief. He is always balled out against the Seahawks, whether it be on the road or at home. Every time, I mean, he just goes wild. So I'm very, very grateful that he is in the game. It was kind of got a little scary there for a few weeks, not even a few weeks, a few days. But getting the news this morning from Shanahan that he is available and will be playing is fantastic. Even he said it himself. I feel great. I'm good to go. He was never really concerned with the injury that he was dealing with. Kind of just something to take a little precaution. Obviously, you want your players ready, so having them take a few days off or just having limited practice and then yesterday taking the day off fully of practice, I think probably helps quite a bit. So first off, I'm going to turn my hat backwards. Yeah, very glad he is good to go. Just kind of thoughts about the game overall. This is a tough one. They're facing their second biggest division. Actually, no, their biggest division rival, I would say. Seahawks fans hate 49ers. The Seahawks hate the 49ers. The 49ers hate the Seahawks. So starting the year like this, playing them week 1 and then not playing them again until week 18 is interesting to me, I think. Not sure when the last time something like this has happened. It could have been in the last 4 years and I just wasn't paying attention. But I really like it. I think it's a great test for this team to play hopefully a playoff caliber team off rip. Because last year, they played the Jets. Beat them fairly easily with a few injury scares. Obviously, McCaffrey was not in the game. But playing a team like this, who I think the Seahawks are going to be worse this year. I'll just get that out of the way. I think that, but playing a team that was very good last year is huge. Just to kind of get everyone's minds right, everyone thinking the same, and really like honing in on playing good ball. So I love it. I think it's awesome. Yeah. So hopefully, I think the Niners are favored by, let's see. I think I tried to do this last time and I couldn't because I didn't find it. Let's see. So the game, Seahawks. Nope. The Niners are favored. The line is -1.5. If you're a betting man, spread is 1.5. Over under is 43.5. The money line is Niners 130. Seahawks plus 110. So 55% chance for the Niners to win this. Obviously, that's ESPN analytics, ESPN betting lines. They're going into hostile territory. Lumen Field has always been, for any team to come in and play there week one or any week, be that, it's tough. So, and Seahawks fans are crazy. It's one of the loudest stadiums in the league just because how it's built, and they're also just very, very passionate fans. So I'm very, very excited for this game. I think it's going to be a great game. Having a fairly healthy offense is going to be huge. A decent defense. I'm not going to say it's a defense of old for the Niners, like top one, but it is a good defense. It's going to get the job done. And I think, there's some holes. The secondary is still not exactly where I think a lot of people want it to be. We'll talk about that a little later, but yeah, who knows, man? Okay, let's get into it. Let's play some music. Yeah. All right. I don't know how to I'm still trying to figure out my podcast streaming software, so whatever. But top 10 players in the 2025 season. I'm gonna go from number 10 to number 1. Like I said, most of these players, I would say 9 of 10 of these players are people that 49ers fans know. Obviously, 49ers fans should know the entire team. Maybe not some of the third stringers, but all these guys should and will see the field today and for most of the season, if bearing some craziness. So my number 10 pick is Michael Williams, defensive end or defensive edge, whatever you want to call it. That was our first round pick this year. Came out of Georgia, was an absolute stud in Georgia. I can attest to that. I saw him play in person. I went down to, I don't know, maybe about a year ago. I went down to Austin to visit a buddy who goes to Texas and watch the Texas-Georgia game. And the amount of pressure he applied to a decent Texas offensive line was crazy. Just able to get to Quinn Ewers. It was crazy. So I'm very, very excited to see what he can do. I think he's a great pair up with Nick Bosa. It's really going to be cool to have 2 edge rushers really be able to go at the quarterback and really fight that offensive line. So having him is massive. I can't remember his exact stats in college, but he's just able to get around the offensive line, really just strong, just an absolute beast of a man. So him and Bosa are going to pair greatly on this 2 sides of the defensive line. I think that is the defensive line, I think, in my opinion, is somewhere that the Niners are still a little bit lacking. I think both of the lines, the offensive line and the defensive line, I think the Niners are still lacking a little bit. If I'm wrong, if that was a wrong opinion, blame me. whatever. That's just what I've been seeing. So having him being like kind of bolstering up the edges of that defensive line is going to be huge. Okay. So I'm going to try and spend a little bit of time on each guy. There's some people that I still don't like know know off the top of my head, but most of these guys I can talk about for years. So some people are going to get a little more love. Some people are going to get a little less love just because of my ball knowledge, which is still, it's on the up, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. My number 9 is Jair Brown, the strong safety. He had for the last few years has been really one of the, if not the best forces in that safety position. Like I kind of said in the beginning, this defense is still not exactly where I think the Niners want it to be, where it can be, but in the secondary position, I think is where they struggle the most. I know I just said the defensive line could use some work. I think the secondary could use a little bit more. So having Jair Brown back there, really kind of covering that whole not the backfield, but that the downfield, I guess is what you could call it, is big. Because a lot of times last season when I was watching games, receivers, they'd run like a post route or an out route or whatever, kind of juke the defenders in that secondary a little bit, and they get a little lost. I've only seen Jair Brown lock up people. There's times where a receiver, a tight end, or you name it, is going to get around a defender. That's just how the game is. Sometimes they make a move that's too good for them to stop. But from what I have seen, Jair Brown has been a very solid and consistent safety in that secondary. Now, especially with a lot of our secondary players leaving, like going to the Niners, like Hufanga and all that. They may not be safeties, but whatever. He is going to be a really, really big force in kind of covering that whole thing. So I really like him. I think he's going to be a really, really really big key factor in this defense and the secondary. So be on the lookout for him. Yeah. So I'm stoked with him. All right. Number 8, I kind of wrote these down last night, did a little research, and I couldn't. This isn't really it's a player, but it's 2 players, so it's kind of like important. I guess it's like important players to watch, but also an important battle to watch, and that to me is Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, that kind of wide receiver battle. So we all know that Brandon Ayuk is out for the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season. That's common knowledge. So the wide receiver room without him, and with Debo being traded to the Commanders, is a little it's on the thin side. They obviously have Demarcus Robinson, who's suspended for the first 3 games. They have the kid from Ole Miss, I can't remember his name, but they have a bunch of rookies. Sky Moore, they just traded for. So, they kind of tried to patch up some pieces, but to me, this Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall battle, I'm not sure how big of a battle it's going to be, is huge. It kind of it's going to set the tone to see what Brock Purdy is going to, how he's going to handle going through his progressions, who he's going to want to target the most. So, Juwan Jennings, we obviously saw what he can do last year. Just an absolute tank. He's really, really shifty. He's fast. He can make incredible catches. So, be on the lookout for him. And then Ricky Pearsall, second year, he had a pretty decent year for his rookie year. Obviously, we can kind of push all that out the window with him being shot before the season started. So, but every play that I saw him make last year was unbelievable. And also, you can't forget about his catch at Florida, where he went up, made the Jordan logo over 2 defenders. in the midfield. So it was unreal. That clip sold me on Ricky Pearsall alone when I was doing draft research when he was drafted last year. So big fan of this battle. What is going to happen when Brandon Ayuk comes back? I don't know. I would assume he's probably going to slot into that wide receiver 1 role just because the fact that he got his extension, his paycheck 2 off seasons ago. So, and we all have seen what Ayuk can do. He is very good. At times, he can be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. At times, he can be a top 30 wide receiver in the NFL. It's very kind of tricky. So, I think when Ayuk comes back, he'll slot back into that 1 role unless Jawan Jennings or Ricky Pearsall make huge strides, like playing at an insane level, making most of the catches when they're being targeted, being able to work around the defense, really kind of read the field, make defenders miss. So it's going to be interesting. And obviously, Jawan Jennings just got his extension. I believe it's 10 or 11 million per year with some playing time incentives. So he's going to be seeing the field a lot. Right now, he is their wide receiver 1. So I'll just pull up. Actually, let me pull up the depth chart real quick. Oh, wait. Did that not work? Hold on. Let me try something here. Look at that. Okay. So that's fun. Anyways. Yeah. So if this works, it works. If it doesn't, whatever. But as you can see on the depth chart, Jawan Jennings 1, Russell Gage backing him up, Ricky Pearsall 2, Sky Moore and Jordan Watkins backing him up as well. Okay, so how do I get out of this? Okay, did it. Easy game. Cool. Sorry about that. I don't know if that worked, but we'll find out. Okay, where was I? Number 7. We have another secondary player. This is going to be the only other secondary player on my list, and that is first-time team captain Diamador Lenore. I said this in the previous one that I've tried to record twice. I am so happy for this kid. He has been a beast. He has just worked so hard, season in, season out, no matter what, no matter if they're in a 6-11 season, a 3-bad season, like an undefeated season, a 13-4, you name it. He has just really been a focal point in this secondary as well. Why did I pick him as being an important player? Well, he's a first-time captain. He's earned it. He's earned the love. He's earned the respect. He's going to be a leader, in my opinion, of the secondary, which I already said is fairly interesting. So seeing him on this list is massive. I really think he can overperform all expectations, all thoughts about how he can play. So again, he's very similar to Jair Brown, being able to read the offense, read what's happening, communicating to the linebackers, to the defensive line about what he sees, because he can see everything. So I really like this, being able to cover people man, being able to work around in zone. It's so much fun to watch him play ball, and I love it. So that's my thoughts on Lenore. Okay. Number 6, got another defensive lineman / defensive edge, and he's on the screen right now. Nick Bosa. Defensive player of the year, I believe 2 years ago. We obviously know what he can do. He's a beast. He's a beast. All he wants to do is sack the quarterback. Shout out to that quote. Shout out to that video. So really, in my opinion, he is going to be leading the defensive line. He is kind of quirky. He doesn't really talk a whole lot. But when he gets on the field, he's a beast. All he wants to do is run at your face and put you in the dirt. So, in my opinion, him and Michael Williams, I know I talked about this when I was talking about Michael Williams, but pairing Michael Williams with Nick Bosa is just going to give the defensive line a huge boost in really kind of pushing the offensive line back, really breaking down the pocket. That's something that I think the Niners have struggled with in the past few years, is really kind of breaking down, or at least last year, is breaking down the pocket. So the quarter, or collapsing the pocket, I guess, is the politically correct term for that. So really collapsing the pocket and making the quarterback feel pressure and start scrambling. That way, Nick Bosa or Michael Williams can start to, like, whatever way the quarterback is running, they can go at him. And then obviously just being a beast, he's the bear, being able to really push over his blocker, his assignment, and get to the quarterback while the pocket's still there. I mean, he is very diverse in his role, and I think that plays a huge factor in how this offensive line is going to really be work, or not the offensive line, my lord, the defensive line is really going to be working. So be on the lookout for him. I really hope he can get back to his defensive player of the year self. Last year he was kind of had a down year. He was injured a little bit. So yeah, be on the lookout for him to have a little bit of a bounce back year and really kind of lead and help this defensive line get back to where they were years ago. Because that is, when you think of 49ers defense, you think of a crazy defensive line and you think of a crazy linebacker and secondary set. I mean, just beasts all over that defense. And now I think with Robert Saleh, they can get back to that. So bear with them. I think it's going to be fun. Yeah. All right. We are 22 minutes in. This is actually going swimmingly. Okay. Number 5. Now, I don't really know like why I put all these players where I did, but I did. And yeah, so I mean, this guy could easily be number 1. He could easily be number 2, but I put him at 5. He's actually, I'm just now thinking he's going to be interchangeable with number 4. So I'm going to write note of that because I can. All right, number 5, Christian McCaffrey. Mentioned him at the beginning of the show, but he is playing today at 105, and that's in a few hours. So hearing that from him, from Kyle Shanahan, I think I already said this, just it's a huge sigh of relief knowing that the RB1, one of Purdy's favorite targets, like one of the focal points, if not the focal point of this 49ers offense for the past few years, is healthy, wants to play, is going to play, and is ready to start running through people's faces. It's huge. It's massive, and it's great to hear because everyone was scared of what he can do after last season. You know, he was hurt. He's obviously had an insane injury history, and he acknowledged that. It's like, with my injury history, I know it can get a little stressful on fans, but trust me, I'm okay. He said something like that. He might have been talking about fantasy managers. I don't know. I actually passed on him in my draft just for that reason, because it's fantasy and I want to have the best team available. So, but if he is healthy and I passed on him, then I'm going to have to spend 24 hours in like a Denny's or something, and that sucks. But the notes I had written are really, can he return to his prime after his season full of injuries? It started with a calf injury, turned into an ACL, PCL, out for the season, surgery, and then obviously in the last 3 days, his lingering calf issue again. So it's a really big question. Can he return to his prime? I believe he can. When he is healthy, when he is himself, he is a top 1 running back in the league. I don't care about Saquon Barkley. He is a top 1 running back in the league. And we saw that 2 years ago in that year that he pretty much led them to the Super Bowl. he was able to do everything. He was able to run up the middle. He was able to find a hole on the outside. He was able to be a receiver. Hell, he was able to be a quarterback. So it's, there's levels to it, right? When he's healthy, he's a dog. But when he's not healthy, which seems to be a lot of the time, then the offense is really struggling and it hurts not having him in the lineup. So we'll see. I really, really think he can get back to his full potential if this calf injury is really nothing to worry about. If it is, and you can kind of see it during the game today, it's going to be rough. Just in my opinion. I know the Niners just traded for Brian Robinson Jr., and that's huge. But Brian Robinson Jr. is not Christian McCaffrey. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say about that. Okay. Number 4, like I said, could be interchangeable with number 5. Trent Williams. Obviously, he is one of the longest tenured Niners, and he is one of the hardest working Niners. He is one of the most well-known Niners. He's constantly known as the best, one of the, if not the best tackles in the league. Obviously, I keep saying obviously, I'll stop, but he is getting older. So how much of prime Trent Williams do we have left to see? And I think, he's definitely got a few years left. Like, there's no reason to think he doesn't have a few years left. So having him in the O-line still, which just like the defensive line, I think is a little bit thin. Excuse me. Yeah, you saw last year there was a lot of collapsing pockets. Whether that's Trent Williams' fault, which I don't think it is, who knows? But last year it was kind of the same as the defensive line, very kind of like they collapsed pretty easily. So, they collapsed and folded easily. But I think he can be that bolster that we all know he can to a very thin O-line, and hopefully provide a little bit of time for Brock Purdy to really kind of go through his progressions, read the defense, read the field, and make the best decision possible, whether that's running the ball, whether that's throwing the ball, whether that's just kind of getting past the line of scrimmage and sliding or getting out of bounds, whatever, right? So he's going to be huge in the department of really helping Brock Purdy out. And he knows that. He knows that. He wants to play. He wants to fight. He wants to die for Brock Purdy. So do all these players. We'll get to that. But I think Trent Williams is going to be one of the most influential pieces on the offense. That's not, I guess, like a specialty position. So keep an eye on him and kind of the whole offensive line as one unit. I really, really hope they can rebound to what they were in the past few years. All right, we're rolling. We're rolling through this. What time is it? 9:55. Shoot, game start in 5 minutes. Whatever. All right, number 3, George Kittle. Also was just extended. I believe it was a 3-year or a 4-year. I can't remember the exact. Oh, wait. Hold. I'm gonna cut all this. Dude. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. Can't find it. But yeah, he was just extended, and he has, since Brock Purdy took over this offense, he has been probably the favorite target of Brock Purdy, and I expect that to be the same this year. He's still George Kittle. He's still one of, if not the best tight ends in the league, and he can really, really, really make plays, whether that is a receiving play or a blocking play. He's he's just one of the most versatile players, really. One of the most versatile offensive players in the league. Probably behind a healthy CMC, because Kittle can run, he can block, he can catch, he can juke, he can move, and he's just a fun guy. He's a fan favorite. Everyone loves George Kittle. So really kind of counting on him to help lead this offense as well. Like I already said, he's a very he can block. When he is not part of the game plan, he's out there blocking. And that is something huge. I know a lot of players kind of get a little mad when they're not a part of the game plan, like AJ Brown on Thursday. He probably wasn't too stoked that he only got 1 catch and 8 yards. So, but George Kittle is always happy. He's always in good spirits. He never really says anything negative about anyone except for the Cowboys. But really having that player that is so well-rounded and well-minded is, I guess the word I'm going to use for that, is huge. So having him, I keep saying having him, but again, be on the lookout for him. He's going to be a favorite target, especially with this thin-ish wide receiver room. And he's just a fan favorite. So everyone loves George Kittle, and he likes to play hard every day. Yep. All right. 2 left. I have Fred Warner, the leader of the linebacker room, really the leader of the defense as a whole. I'll just get that out of the way. He's a psycho. I mean, he is constantly regarded as the best linebacker in the league. No matter, you ask anyone, fan, coach, player, anyone that knows football, and they always say Fred Warner is someone that I never want to go against ever. And if I don't want to go against him again. He is just a force. He will run you over, have no remorse for it. He will make great plays. He will intercept when he can. And he just kind of fires everyone up. Like you see on Instagram before every game, he's in the huddle, getting the boys fired up. And then when they win, he's getting the boys fired up on the sidelines, on Instagram. He's getting everyone fired up. Dub City, right? So he's just kind of a leader of the defense, and he's just a spark. He's just a spark to the chemistry of this team, and that's huge to have. There's not a lot of teams that have a player like Fred Warner that really just spark the team, no matter if you're on offense or defense. Usually the offense and defense are kind of like on a different, I would say they're kind of like different groups, right? Fred rallies everyone together, whether they're on offense, defense, special teams, coach, fan, you name it. He rallies everyone together and gets them fired up and ready to go play ball, run through run through a dude's face. Just he's a heat-seeking missile, and he makes everyone else on the team heat-seeking missiles. And I love it. I love it, and I love it. He's the leader of that defense. He's going to be insane again. He was just extended as well. So I really, really like what he can do. He's going to be a Niner for life. This season, I think, is going to be one of his best seasons yet. Why? I really have no idea. I just have a feeling. So that's my rant on Fred Warner. I think he's going to be a dog. He is a dog. Be on the lookout for him. He's going to be a game changer if the Niners want to get back to the playoffs, the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl's in San Francisco. Why not play it there, right? Okay, last guy. Sure, you probably all saw it coming. Brock Purdy, QB1, leader of the team. He's the man. Everyone listens to him. Everyone wants Saints similar to Fred Warner. Everyone wants to die for him. Players' jerseys get dirty so his can stay clean. It's that same, you see all the memes on Instagram, right? Where these high schoolers' jerseys are disgusting and the quarterback's jersey is fresh as daylight. Everyone loves him. Also, he's a good quarterback, Is he a Lamar Jackson? Is he a Josh Allen? No. I don't like, I might get hate for saying that, but he's not. He's just not quite there. Can he get there? Absolutely, he can. He just has to get over that kind of game manager like tag that he has on him. I don't think he's a game manager. I think he's pretty decent. He had a really good season last year, just with the weapons that he had. Obviously, you know, oh, if I was on the Niners team, if I had those weapons, I would do the same thing. No. Brock Purdy can make plays out of the pocket like I've never seen. He can run. I just remember that either the Tampa Bay game or the Dolphins game where he first started or first played in, where he made that crazy like lean back juke and then throw. I mean, the kid is just a ball of potential. He's a ball of potential, and he's only 26. So I really think, or 20 something. I don't really know how old he is, but he's just a dog. Now, the question: a lot of players, once they get extended, which he did, 5 years, 265 milli, absolute bag. He can buy a bunch of Ariat boots and hopefully buy me a truck. Just kidding. Although, Brock, if you're listening, please. Stupid. Anyways, a lot of players, once they get the bag, they kind of fold a little bit. You know, they play hard through their rookie contracts or whatever. Then they get the money. Then they get the 200 mils, the 100 mils. Then you kind of see them start to, right? I don't think Brock will do that, but there's always a question of if. Would it be self-inflicted, or would it just be a fact that, oh, teams are starting to figure him out? It's a question mark. It really is. It's not. I don't think it's going to happen. There's no way that I do. He's too solid-headed. He plays the game the right way. He's right-minded. So I think he's still going to be really, really good. Obviously, I have to say that because I'm a Niners fan. But if I didn't think he was going to be good, I would say I don't think he's going to be good. So just going to get that out there. But yeah, I think he's the spark, and he needs to find targets, and really kind of the only thing that concerns me with Brock Purdy is his deep ball. They just kind of, he throws them. They're not like the Aaron Rodgers, like you throw it and you kind of see like, oh, that thing's got some heat to it, and it's like very, very controlled and tight. His deep balls, I feel like, kind of just float in the air. Obviously, players like receivers catch them. He doesn't he doesn't throw a whole lot of interceptions, but when he does, I feel like they are kind of like the. So that's my thoughts on Brock Purdy. Obviously, he's the most important player on the team. He is the leader of the team. Regardless of what I said about Fred Warner, Brock Purdy is the leader of the team. And yeah, wow, that actually went well. I thought that was going to be like a 15-minute podcast because I didn't know what to talk about. Cool. All righty, gang. That is it for me. That's all I have to say. And yeah, thank you for listening to episode 3 of the Weekly 415. Football's back. Enjoy it. Crack a beer, a soda, have whatever. Enjoy the day, man. It's good to be back. And I will see you guys next time. I'm going to try and get one of those podcasts going. Just need to figure out what I want to talk about. So yeah, thanks for listening. Again, I know I've said this in the last one. I don't know why I just thought of this. If you want to talk shop with me, hit me up in my DMs. If you want to potentially sponsor the channel, sponsor the show, also hit me up in the DMs if you're listening. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to grow this thing, and I think we've got a good thing going. So yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. I will see you next time. Peace out and go Niners.